Tuesday Jew. This is episode 11, Parshas Ki Teitzei. This episode is personal. Parshas Ki Teitzei is my bar mitzvah parsha. On August of 1985, I stood as a young boy and read these words from the Torah. At that age, you stand on the bima. You know the laning. You know the moment is important, but you cannot yet know where life will take you. You cannot know the struggles you will see. You cannot know the people you will meet. You cannot know the times you will feel strong, the times you will feel lost, the times you will watch other people feel unseen, and the times you will need Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to bring you back to yourself. And now, when I open the Parsha decades later, I do not see a list of disconnected mitzvahs. I see a map. I see a Parsha that asks us, when you meet another person, what are you looking at? Are you looking at an image or a soul? When you see someone is drifting, do you notice or do you hide yourself? When you measure other people, do you see one honest standard or do you pull out a different rule for whatever does not fit your expectations? Ki Seitzei is not only speaking about a battlefield, a lost object or a business way. It is speaking about a battlefield inside the human heart, because we live in a world that is constantly training us to look at the outside, the image, the resume, family names, the clothing, the money, the status, and the presentation. But Torah looks deeper. Torah asks, where is the person? Where is the neshama? Where is the yid who may be standing right in front of you, smiling on the outside, but quietly falling apart inside? Tonight, I want to learn 3 messages from my bar mitzvah. See the past image, return the lost soul, and measure people with honesty. And at the end, we will come to Molech, the coldness that tries to make us indifferent to each other and distant from Hashem. The Parsha opens with the laws of Yefes Toar, the beautiful captive woman encountered in war. The Torah does not allow a soldier to act immediately on desire. There is a process. There is a waiting. There is grief. There is a stripping away of the outer presentation. The person must be seen not as a fantasy, not as a trophy, not as an image created in the heat of the moment, but as a real human being with a past, a family, pain, and dignity. That is the deep Torah lesson. Human beings are easily captured by an image. We look at a screen, we see somebody's polished life, we see the beautiful home, the perfect simcha, the expensive clothing, the vacation, the smiling family photograph, and we tell ourselves a story. We say, they have it together. But do we know the story behind the picture? We do not. We do not know the financial pressure. We do not know the loneliness. We do not know the marriage. We do not know the child who is struggling. We do not know what somebody cries about at night. And sometimes we judge ourselves against an image that was never real in the first place. My friends, the Torah is teaching us, slow down. Do not marry the image. Do not judge the image. And do not destroy your peace trying to become an image. Look for a person. Look for the heart. Look for the neshama. There is nothing wrong with beauty. There is nothing wrong with success. There is nothing wrong with enjoying a bracha that Hashem gives a person. The danger begins when an appearance becomes an identity, when an act as though a person's value is determined by how impressive he looks, how polished she appears, or how successfully a family can present itself to the world. That is not freedom. That is a prison. And the Torah says, take your time, remove the illusion, see the human being standing in front of you. Maybe that is a message for a parent looking at a child who does not fit the expected mold. Maybe it's a message for a single person who feels judged by a profile before anyone has taken the time to know their heart. Maybe it is a message for a husband and a wife who has spent too much time maintaining the outside and not enough time asking, how are you really doing? Maybe it is a message for every one of us when we look in the mirror. You are more than the version of yourself you are trying to sell the world. Later in the Parsha, the Torah gives us one of the most direct commands in all of Jewish life. Lo sirei eshor achicha ay esiyai nidachim v'hislamta mehem hashev teshim le'achicha. You shall not see your brother's ox or sheep wandering and hide yourselves from them. You must surely return them to your brother. And the Torah expands, if you find your brother's garment or at any lost item, you must return it. And then it says the words that should shake us. Lo tuchel lel lichasalem. You are not allowed to hide yourself. You are not allowed to see something lost and decide it is not your problem. If somebody loses a wallet in shul, people look. If somebody leaves behind a phone, people post a message. If someone loses an object of value, the community often wants to help return it. That is beautiful. But what about a lost soul? What about a boy or girl sitting quietly in the back of the room, convinced that nobody notices them? What about the teenager who is asking a difficult because pain is the only language they have left? What about a single person who feels reduced to a list of questions, background details, and expectations? What about the divorced person who comes into shul and wonders whether anybody sees them as a whole person? What about a married couple who looks fine in public but has forgotten how to speak gently to each other in private? What about the person who has made mistakes and now believes there is no way back? There is no statistics. There are no problems to manage. These are not people who should be judged by a rumor, a label, or a resume. They are worlds. Every single person is an olam mima, an olam male, an entire universe. And when Torah says, Lo tuchal lechisalem, it is telling us, do not train yourself to look away from another Jew's pain. Do not say someone else will call. Do not say someone else will invite them. Do not say someone else will notice. You notice. You call. You invite. You listen. You make room at the table. You tell a person you are still one of us. You still matter. You do not have to earn your humanity. Because sometimes the greatest hashavas aveda is not returning a wallet. Sometimes it is returning hope to somebody who thought they were forgotten. There are people who are lost in plain sight. Near the end of the Parsha, the Torah speaks about honest weights and measures. Lo yihiyeh lecha, be'shischa even ve'even, gedola u'katana. Do not have two different weights, one larger and one small. Even shlema ve'tzedek yihiyeh lach. Have a complete and honest measure. On the simple level, that is business integrity. Do not cheat people. Do not use one scale when you are buying and another scale when you are selling. But this mitzvah should also make us ask, what weights do we use when we measure people? Do we use gentle standard for ourselves and an impossible standard for somebody else? Do we explain away our own failures but turn another person's mistakes into their entire identity? Do we praise confidence in someone's power, someone being powerful, or someone not being powerful, but call it arrogance in someone we already do not like? Do we admire success when it comes from the people inside our circle, but become suspicious when the person outside, expected a mold, tries to build a life? Do we give certain people the benefit of the doubt while demanding that others prove themselves again and again? That is not honest measure. The Torah is demanding something cleaner, one honest weight. If you want patience for yourself, give patience to somebody else. If you want people to understand your struggle, make room for theirs. If you want Hashem to see beyond your lowest moment, learn to see beyond another person's lowest moment. The matter deeply in Shidduchim, a young man is not merely a learning schedule. A family name, a career plan, or a list of references. A young woman is not merely a set of external expectations, accomplishments, or measurements. They are people trying to build a home, and no home becomes holy because two perfect profiles were matched. A home becomes holy when two people learn to be honest, patient, responsible, forgiving, and kind. You cannot build a permanent home with two performances. You build it with two hearts. So let us stop asking only, does this look right? Let us ask, is this person treated with dignity? Let us stop asking only, will people approve? Let us stop asking, is this honest before Hashem? Ki Teitzei ends with the command of remembering Amalek. Amalek attacked the Jewish people on the way to out of Mitzrayim. The Torah tells us that Amalek struck those who were weak and tired, those who were at the back, those who were struggling to keep up. There is a well-known connection between the word karcha, he happened upon you, and kor, coldness. Amalek represents the voice that cools us down. The voice that says, do not care so much. The voice that says, it does not matter if someone is lonely. The voice that says, keep moving. Do not get involved. Do not feel too deeply. The voice that says, if somebody is struggling, it is probably their fault. The coldness can enter any heart. It can enter any home. It can enter any community. It can enter us when we become so distracted, so busy, so focused on our own pressures and our own image that we no longer see the person walking beside us. And Amalek does not begin by asking us to reject Torah. It begins by trying to make Torah cold. It tries to turn Avodah into performance. It tries to turn a fellow Jew into a label. It tries to turn a painful human story into gossip. It tries to turn us look at somebody who is falling behind and say, not my problem. Seitzei tells us the answer. The answer is not to become less committed. The answer is to become more alive, more honest, more humble, more compassionate, more connected to Hashem. We do not need less Torah. We need Torah that reaches the heart. We need Torah. We do not need to lower standards. We need standards that elevate people instead of humiliating them. We do not need a perfect image. We need a real relationship with the Eibishter. This week, take one small step. Look for one person you may have overlooked. Call someone who is alone. Invite someone who does not know whether they belong. Ask your child a question that has nothing to do with achievement. Put down the phone and look at your spouse with patience. When somebody shares pain, do not rush to correct them. First, let them know how you hear them, and then you look at yourself. Stop measuring your worth by the comparison machine. You are not a rumor. You are not a resume. You are not a public image. You are a living neshama created by Hashem. HaKadosh Baruch Hu for a purpose that nobody else can fulfill. My bar mitzvah parsha is telling me something today, and I want to share it with you. Do not hide from the lost soul, not in your neighbor, not in your child, and not in your spouse, and not in yourself. Let us bring back warmth. Let us bring back honesty. Let us bring back the kind of Torah that helps a person that stand up again, will walk back towards the Eibishter and know that they are still loved. Have a good Shabbos, and I will see you on Tuesday for episode 12. Good Shabbos, Kol Tuv.